This is Ricky Burns, and you're watching Sport and Icons.
Okay, so the Tartan Tornado, Josh Taylor, the undisputed super lightweight champion of the world, returns to his homeland in Scotland this weekend at the Hydro in Glasgow to defend his undisputed crown against undefeated challenger Jack Catterall. Now, this will be on Sky Sports as part of the Boxer program. I don't know if Jack Catterall, is he still a Frank Warren fighter? I don't know. We know that Jack Catterall, he could have fought Josh Taylor a little while ago, but he did take a step back to allow Josh Taylor to go fight for the undisputed crown against Jose Ramirez. Now, as far as Josh Taylor is concerned, I do feel he goes under the radar. Maybe it's because he's only had 18 fights, I don't know. But he doesn't really get the kind of recognition that I feel, and I know many of you feel, that he should. Should he be a pay-per-view fighter and all that kind of stuff? I mean, maybe. But I think that this is the kind of fight that could do it. Him fighting on Sky Sports is what could do it. In all honesty, Sky Sports is definitely the platform to be if you want to become a pay-per-view superstar. Now, Josh Taylor, he's been taking on undefeated fighter after undefeated fighter in such a very, very short amount of fights. Jack Catterall, of course, is undefeated, 26-0. Before then, it was Jose Ramirez. He was 26-0. Then he took on that Aponin Kongsong, who was 16-0. He took on Regis Prograis at 24-0. Ivan Barancek at 19-0. Ryan Martin at 22-0. A little bit before that, O'Hara Davis, he was 15-0. And of course, he does have a win over Victor Postal, who was 29-1 at the time. So Josh Taylor is quite clearly, as far as Great Britain is concerned at least, pound for pound, number one by a long, long way. Nobody's even close to him. He is, I mean, we can call him King of Scotland. He's pretty much King of Great Britain. Let's be honest about it. But him taking on Jack Catterall is no gimme. It really isn't. Now, Jack Catterall, he does have 26 wins, undefeated, 13 of those by knockout. So he has had 8 fights more than Josh Taylor. Of course, his resume is not as deep, but 13 knockouts. Well, Josh Taylor's also had 13 knockouts in 8 less fights against much stiffer competition as well. So you'd probably have to say that Josh Taylor is probably the bigger puncher, but Jack Catterall is a very, very skillful fighter, and I'll be looking forward to seeing this fight for quite some time. We could have seen it a while ago, but Jack Catterall, he took that step aside to allow Josh Taylor to go fight Ramirez for the undisputed crown. I'm presuming he got some kind of step aside money, I'm presuming. But it's no gimme. This fight is no gimme. Now, could it be billed as Scotland versus England? For some people, maybe, especially Scottish. They probably would, right? But I believe that Josh Taylor is loved. Of course, he's in Scotland for sure, but he's loved in England, in Wales, in Northern Ireland. He is loved all across Great Britain. He is. But he's not that superstar. And hopefully I'll say yet. I think that he could well be. And this could well be the fight to do it. Now, they do have a opponent in common in O'Hara Davis, where Josh Taylor, let's be honest, made him quit. He did. Jack Catterall beat him on points. It was officially a unanimous decision. I thought the fight was pretty close. And had O'Hara Davis got the nod in that fight, I wouldn't have complained. To be honest with you, it was that close. But is that a bearing on how this fight goes? No. Okay, it's not a computer game. Every fighter has his or her own merits, and styles do make fights. I actually hate that saying, but it's true. Styles do make fights. But this is the kind of fight that I think, when it comes to Josh Taylor, him to get Jack Catterall on his resume, as in a win, and I would predict him to beat Jack Catterall, as much as I do rate him, I do like him. Another undefeated fighter. I mean, what else does he do at the super lightweight division? So I would imagine that he'll probably end up vacating the belts, moving on to welterweight. Hey, listen, fully expect the likes of Conor Ben to start calling him out. Hey, listen, if you want to move up to welterweight, I'll welcome him. You watch. But anyway, now, I think after this one, he's probably going to be looking at Terence Crawford and these kind of guys. We'll have to wait and see what happens now. Terence Crawford has left Top Rank. Of course, Josh Taylor is still with Top Rank, but his UK promoter is Boxer. Now, Jack Catterall is a very, very skillful fighter. He's a very clever fighter. Never really seen him in too much trouble. You don't. He always just seems to do enough to get a win. Now, he's really going to have to raise his game to even be competitive with Josh Taylor. Now, Josh Taylor, he does have moments in fights where it kind of looks like either he loses interest or he's starting to tire, but then he just comes back. Other times he's dominating the fight right the way through, and then he takes the last couple of rounds off. So Josh Taylor, he does take rounds off, and that's where Jack Catterall is going to really have to try and put it on him. If he's got that killer instinct, if he does have that big punch knockout power with that left hook of his, well, that's when to do it. If Josh Taylor is really up for this fight, Jack Catterall could be in a whole world of trouble. He really could. Am I surprised that this fight isn't on pay-per-view? No, not really. As I said, for some reason, Josh Taylor's not really spoken about enough. In fact, his undisputed fight wasn't even shown on any UK platform. For whatever reason, Sky Sports didn't pick it up, BT Sport didn't pick it up, nobody picked it up. I believe it's on, was it that app, was it Fight TV or something like that? But anyway, as I said before, if he beats Jack Catterall, which of course I would fully expect him to, then I would fully expect him to be on some pay-per-view fights going forward, especially if he does end up fighting, say, Terence Crawford. And as we know, Terence Crawford, he was over here for the Amir Khan and Kell Brook fight, and we have all seen him speaking with Ben Shalom, so you never know. But anyway, that fight is happening this weekend. Josh Taylor will defend his undisputed super lightweight crown against England's Jack Catterall. Who wins this fight? Well, my prediction will be for the southpaw in Josh Taylor, and I think he'll probably win by quite a wide points as well, especially as he does have his home crowd and that behind him. But again, this is southpaw against southpaw, so me picking a southpaw is not really going to be wrong on that one. But I do think that Josh Taylor is just about to eke it out, and as they are both southpaws, expect a couple of head clashes here and there. But anyway, my thoughts, you drop me yours, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you on the next video.